I'm an absolute sales nerd. Doing this is going to absolutely kill your sales. Hello, my name is Rob Spence and welcome to the latest episode of the Sales Circle podcast, your sales podcast that is designed to help you increase your sales, whether you are an entrepreneur, business owner, business leader, a salesperson, sales professional. If you are selling something, then this podcast is for you. The whole idea around this podcast is you listen to it on the way into the office, you listen to it on the way to a customer's address, you listen to it on the way home from a bad business meeting, and each week you listen to it and you increase and improve your sales just percentage by percentage. Because if you don't know by now, I'm an absolute sales nerd. I love sales. I've authored books on sales. I've been running the Sales Circle podcast for ages now. And when it comes to sales, I love it. I sleep it, I breathe it, and everything else in between. And welcome to this week's episode. And today we're going to be talking about the number one thing that's going to stop you selling more. This number one thing is going to stop you converting more sales. It's going to stop you closing sales. It's actually even going to stop you prospecting well. And the inspiration comes on this. Years ago, my colleague and I, Chloe, we released a mini-series all about the 7 deadly sins of business. The 7 deadly sins. And this was up there as one of the biggest sins. And over the years, this has become one of our most viewed and most read pieces of content. What's this number one thing? What's this thing that Rob keeps hinting at? It's talking too much. Not listening and talking too much. And it's something that we talk a lot about here on the podcast, and I talk a lot about in my sales trainings, and I see and I witness and I hear a lot of people just not allowing silence to happen. And I want us to kind of understand this in a couple of ways. Number one, just over-talking your prospect and trying to use your gift of the gab to sell. Bad. No, do not do, right? But also sometimes salespeople can talk themselves out of a sale. Negotiation fails because people talk. They try and fill silence with just nonsense. So we're going to be talking about this number one thing. We're going to bring some awareness around it, but then also we're going to provide some hints, tips, advice, solutions to ensure that the next time you start to overtalk, the next time you start to talk a little bit too much, you can wind that neck back in, and lo and behold, you can sell a little bit more. Before we go on to the main part of the episode, just do me a quick favor, would you? Hit that follow button, hit the subscribe button if you're watching over on YouTube, and let's get started. Let's start with the truth here. Many salespeople talk too much. It's the first thing we think of when we think of a salesperson, right? We think of salespeople and they think about, to be fair, people dressed a little bit like me today, right? We think about people who are sleazy, that have got the gift of the gab, the ability to talk to anyone, that can schmooze their way into any conversation, into any situation. And to a degree, that is true, right? We are told and sometimes badly taught and trained that our job as salespeople is to talk our way into situations. Our job is to talk to persuade people to buy our services, to buy our products. But actually, the more you talk, the more you, in my opinion, you are pushing people away. A couple of weeks ago, and please do go check it out, we released an episode entitled The Tennis Ball Theory, where I talk about the theory where you are constantly pushing people away if you're constantly trying to sell something down someone's necks, down someone's throats, right? Our job as salespeople, in my opinion, is to attract and allow that conversation to flow. Now, this is not just my doing, this is not my thinking. As always, I like to bring out a statistic. I can never say statistic, a statistic or two, okay? And this one is by Gong. They analysed 25,000 sales calls, so a lot of sales calls. They found that the top performing, those salespeople that are outperforming you and I, that are absolutely elite of their game, they found that top performing salespeople speak just 43% of their sales calls. So less than half. They found that the top performing salespeople that are speaking less than 43% of the time, they're listening. They're listening to the needs, the wants, the desires, the pain points of their customers. To help listen, they're asking relevant questions, normally open-ended questions, to dig out those pain points, to understand those pain points. And most importantly, what they're doing is they're tuning in to what the buyer actually wants. Remember, sales becomes so much easier, and I talk about this so often. Sales becomes so much easier when you try and sell to a customer who wants your product or service, and you sell to the customer in the way that which they want to buy. You can't fit a square peg into a round hole. If you're building a jigsaw, you can't just force the pictures together. You've got to find the right fit. And that's where a good salesperson comes into play, right? A good salesperson will clearly talk less, they'll listen more, they'll ask questions, and they'll guide out what is actually needed. Remember, when we talk too much, that's you in your comfort place, in your happy place. Does that make your customer happy? Does that make your customer feel wanted, feel needed, feel valued? Probably not. Think about the last time you were at a party and you were stuck with that little cretin that just won't shut up, right? And if you've not done that, then unfortunately that guy's probably you. But we've all done it, right? We've sat in a cocktail party and at a networking event and someone's just talking and talking and talking. And you're like, oh my gosh, would you shut up, right? Think about how that makes you feel. Now think about how that makes your customer feel. So why does listening more actually help you win more sales? I want you to ask yourself something. When was the last time you felt listened to? Think about that for a second. Someone sat down and truly listened to you. How did that make you feel? Made you feel good, right? I'm sure it did. We all love it when we feel listened to, or when we feel that whoever we're speaking to just gets us. That's what you want your customer to feel. You don't like it when someone just talks at you. But when someone truly listens and takes the time to engage with you, that's when you truly start to switch on, right? It's the same with your customers. Remember, listening builds trust. Trust is massive in sales. Trust is massive in relationship building. Relationships hold the key to sales. I wrote a whole book about it, right? And I'm going to write another one again soon, I think. I'm in the mood to write a book. But yeah, listening builds trust. It helps you, listening makes people understood. Understood. Remember what I asked you a second ago. When did you last feel understood? It felt so damn good, right? Beyond all of that, beyond all of the trust building, beyond all of the relationship development, beyond all of that rapport building, asking questions and listening allows us to qualify much quicker, and thus meaning we can spend our time on the prospects that truly want our product or service, thus meaning we can close deals quicker. It's as simple as that. If we're constantly just talking, bombarding, walking through a marketplace shouting, bowl of bananas a pound, you're just pushing people away. But if you're asking those questions, you're spending time on the prospects that truly want you. Listening doesn't have to necessarily be a soft skill. Just make it a part of your strategy. And if you are listening to this or potentially watching this, but if you're, listening to this on the way into the office or on the way to your next sales meeting, or, you're about to deliver a presentation, just think, what questions can I ask my customers? What questions can I ask my prospects? What should I be asking? Is my pitch too laden in talking, in, forcing things down people's necks? Or is it good enough that it's asking questions? Remember now, this is a statistic that I shared 2 or 3 episodes ago, potentially. This one is taken from HubSpot only last year, okay? HubSpot did a survey and they found out that 74% of buyers are more likely to do business with salespeople who listen to their needs over one who pitches too hard. 74% of buyers, they want you to ask questions. They want you to understand them. They want you to understand their needs, their pains, their wants, their desires. If you can understand those, you can then sell your services so much better. So as I said a second ago, if you're driving into the office, think, what can you do to open up your prospect more, ask more questions, and listen? And after this very short break, we're going to talk about some strategies that you can implement from today to help you see an increase in your sales. Just before we do go on, a quick message from our sponsors and our partners at Monday.com CRM. As you may well know, we are proud to be partnered with Monday.com CRM, an intuitive, fantastic CRM system that's easy to use with great AI and automated processes. Of course, Monday.com has been around for years and has become well known for its project management tools. And in fact, is used by some of the most leading businesses, agencies all over the world. Their CRM system takes what they did with project management, but just ramps it up to the next level. And as a thank you for supporting the Sales Circle podcast, and as a thank you for tuning in, Monday.com have provided me with some free links to give you some free access and some free goodies and some little freebies on top as well. Perhaps you're a business owner and you're looking for an intuitive CRM system that's not too costly, but that gets the job done, then Monday.com CRM is for you. Perhaps you're a salesperson and you want to provide some different ideas to your sales director, then maybe Monday.com CRM is for you. If you are looking for maybe either a new CRM system or looking for something with a bit more backbone to add into whatever tech stack you've got already, then give it a go. All you got to do, find the link in the show notes or in the video description below, click on that, sign up and get your free access today. So how can you shift from talking too much and pitching too much into asking more questions? Well, what have I jotted down here? 4 simple things that you can do to help you close more sales. And this is not me just, sticking my finger in the air and hoping for the best. I've got some real stories. I once coached a sales rep who was great at what he did. He was a good sales rep. He was, sharp, witty, full of energy. Everyone liked him. Everyone loved him. He walked into a room, he was full of positive energy. But he was losing deals. He was sitting in front of people, but he just was losing deals. What we did is we implemented a process where I listened to some of his sales calls. I sat in on some of his Zoom calls and just listened in. And here's the thing that he did. He never shut up. He answered questions that hadn't been asked. He pitched benefits that weren't relevant to the prospects that he was selling to. And that meant he was pushing people away. What we did was we implemented these 4 things, some on top, but these 4 things I'm going to share with you. Within a month, his close rate doubled. And it was as simple as implementing these 4 things. Number 1, use more questions and statements. If you do have a statement that you want to make, think about how you can potentially flip that statement into a question. So, what's the biggest challenge you're facing right now? And how are you handling this kind of problem? Have you ever experienced this kind of problem? Would this kind of benefit support you in the business? What would an ideal outcome look for you? By asking those questions, you're planting the seed of the solution into the mind of the prospect. Of course, one of my biggest tips for all salespeople, review and get feedback, right? I love a football analogy. Maybe we need to do a section or segment of Rob's football analogies. I love a football analogy, right? After a game of football is finished, the professional teams review it. Okay, they watch the match back. They watch it. They see what went well. They look at what went bad. They look at what they could have done differently. It's that constant coaching and that constant rumination, and that constant fixing of things. You can't sometimes do that during a match, but my gosh, can you do it after a match? It's the same with yourself. When was the last time you listened to a call? Try it next time, right? You don't need fancy technology. You don't need VoIP systems that record calls. Just record on your phone. Yeah, you may only hear your side of the story, but doing that is going to fix things. Golfers do it all the time. This is me golfing, by the way. It's like a dolphin. Golfers will look, at their swing, even amateur. They'll set the phone up, record the swing. If they can do it, you can do too. Don't forget that the pause is your best friend. Embrace silence. Even just by remaining silent then, I piqued your interest, right? You thought something had gone wrong. You'd got used to the monotonous tone of my voice. I broke the rhythm. And I stayed silent. I've no doubt if it's Jack or Megan or whoever is editing this, they've just gone, oh shit, what have I missed there? So don't cut any of that out. But silence is powerful. And sometimes I notice it in negotiations. Sometimes people can talk themselves out of a sale. Sometimes people can talk themselves out of a negotiation. Just slow things down. The Japanese, I believe, are renowned for it. They are trained and taught from an early age to think before they speak. And so sometimes you don't have to quickly rush in with a quick, witty thing. Sometimes you don't have to jump straight back in. Just take that time. Take a second or two. Have a think about your response. And remember, summarize, don't sell. Always, even if you do have a solution to mind, summarize what you've just heard. It shows that you've paid attention. It's good active listening skills, right? Yeah, so you're saying that actually you're losing some money because of X, Y, Z. Okay, I hear that. Listen, we've got this solution that can do this, blah, 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 blah. Right? Repeat back, summarize, don't sell. What you're doing is you're showing your customer that you truly care. You're showing your customer that you understand their needs and wants. You're not just selling something for the sake of selling something, and you'll get some better results. So give those 4 tips a go. Give them a go from today, and I've no doubt you'll see your sales skyrocket in no time at all. We've got some listeners' questions. As always, every week I like to unveil some questions that have been sent in by you, the listener. If you do have any burning sales questions, anything you want to ask about business growth, email them in at thesalescircleofficial@gmail.com, or you can comment anywhere on social media or find me on LinkedIn, wherever. Send in the questions, which is exactly what John has done. John says, Rob, how do I stop myself from jumping in too quickly when I think I know the answer? Good one, John. I think just be really cautious and use a 3-second rule, right? No different to when you drop food on the floor. Even if you want to interject, even if you feel like you want to interrupt, even if you feel like you want to jump in there straight away, you're in control. You are in control of your own mind. You're in control of your own speech. You're in control of your own emotions. So sit there and think. 1, 2, 3. Boom. There we go. We speak. It gets hard, right? As with anything, it takes practice. It takes a lot of practice. But just take that 3-second rule. Take that step back. Think about your response, and then jump in thereafter. Amy from Norwich. Amy has written in to say, what is a good way to show I'm listening without just nodding along? Love that. And I think we've done an episode about active listening. I think we have. If not, maybe we should. Amy, thank you for the question. It does come down to showing active listening. Of course, some active listening, I should say, does come with our body language, right? Some active listening does come with eye contact. It comes with nodding the head, smiling, yes, which I personally do really recommend with Zoom calls and Zoom demos and everything else in between, right? But one of the best ways, Amy, is reflect back, right? Take what the person has told you, summarize it, and maybe use what I call the layering technique to maybe add on a follow-up question if required. So reflect back. So, okay, perfect. So what you're saying is actually this is happening in the business. Oh, wow, fantastic. Or, God, that does sound frustrating, and that would frustrate the hell out of me. How long has that been going on for? What we're doing is we're showing that we're listening. Active listening is fantastic. It shows you care, helps you as a salesperson get deeper insights, get deeper understanding. Once again, another analogy I use is the doctor, right? When you go into your doctors, the doctor will always actively listen. Well, kind of. They'll normally be typing away and sometimes be a bit rude and abrupt, but they'll ask further questions. Okay, so how long has the pain been acting like that? On a scale of 1 to 10, how much does it hurt? Have you suffered with this before? Are you on any other medication? Blah, blah, blah. They're constantly asking questions. Summarize and then ask another question on top, Amy, is what I'd say. But thank you so much for the questions there, both of you. Of course, as I said earlier, if you do have any other questions, please do write in, drop a comment. I'll either chuck them into an episode like this, or sometimes we save them all up for a bumper question and answer episode, which I absolutely love. So thank you for the questions. And coming up right away is my book recommendation of the week. So if you are a long-term fan of the show, of which I am very thankful for, you will know that every week I recommend a book because I'm a massive book nerd. I love books. I think learning is one of the best things that could ever happen to anyone. Behind me is just a collection of some of my books. I've got another couple of libraries at home, and I love it. I think, reading has really elevated not just my career, but also my personal life. It gives me a personality. It gives me something to talk about other than, did you watch this show on Netflix? Did you get caught up with Hollyoaks last night? But reading books I think is vital for both personal and career development. And this week's book of the week, now this is going to be controversial, very controversial, for a number of reasons. Some of you will go, what a knob. Some of you will go, okay, I see it, I hear it. Many of you will have seen the film, but very few of you will have read the book. And that book is The Wolf of Wall Street by Jordan Belfort. Absolutely. There's some of you turning off straight away. There's some of you jumping in the comments going, he's a fraud. He's a spinster. I ripped so many people off. He may have done, okay? I'm going to sit on the fence with Jordan Belfort, okay? I'm not here to cause any harm or any arguments, right? One thing is for certain, he's a damn good salesperson, okay? Not only that, it's a good story, okay? It's an enjoyable story. That's why the movie has gone on to become one of the most successful movies of our time, I'd say. It's very rare that people haven't seen the movie, The Wolf of Wall Street. Of course, if you haven't seen the movie, do go give it a watch. I think it's a good film. Whether you see it as an entertainment piece or anything else, it's a good film. And The Wolf of Wall Street by Jordan Belfort is a great read. To be fair, the book pretty much is the parallel to the movie. So clearly the movie has just been taken literally word by word, chapter by chapter from the book, which is great. So when you are reading it, if you have read the film, you can kind of see the movie in your mind, but it goes a bit deeper, some different insights. A great sales book. Are you necessarily going to learn anything from a theory or a psychology point of view? Probably not. Are you going to get some entertainment from it? I think so. Are you going to pick up some tips and tricks? I think so. Some of you may get motivated by some of the bits in the story, which is absolutely fine. Give it a read. Jordan Belfort has, of course, become one of the world's leading sales trainers. And apologies if the audio has gone a bit weird. I've just spun around to try and find his other books that I've got somewhere on my bookshelf. I can't find them now. But maybe we'll review those at a later date. But yeah, he's gone on to become one of the greatest sales trainers. You know, what was it? Straight line selling, I think, was his method that he taught. And he's also authored some books, and I will probably hunt those down at some point. But do go pick it up, give it a read. It's a great read. Look, if you don't know anything about this, I should probably say, the Telegraph say the man who taught the mafia how to cheat. The blurb says, by day he made thousands of dollars a minute. By night he spent it as fast as he could. Belfort's story of greed, power and excess is a tale that no one could invent. His hyped up, coked out brokers browbeat clients into stock buys that were guaranteed to earn obscene profits for his company. But insatiable, I need to learn how to read, don't I? But an appetite would land Belfort on both sides of the law. If you do want to pick up a copy, hit the link in the comments below, hit the link in the show notes, and grab your copy and give it a read. And that wraps up another episode of the Sales Circle podcast. Remember, the biggest sin in sales is talking too much, whether that be in a prospect meeting, whether that be in a demo, whether that be at a networking event. Just learn to shut the hell up. If you can learn to shut up, then your sales will increase exponentially. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of the Sales Circle podcast. It's always a pleasure. Always a pleasure to speak with you. Always a pleasure to talk to you. We are looking for guests for the podcast. I want to kind of bring something different to the podcast. I want to interview great salespeople, great sales trainers, great sales leaders to get into their minds, to share their knowledge, and to help you, the listener, the viewer, to improve and increase your sales. So if you do fancy getting involved, if you do fancy becoming a guest, then please do send over your details and I'll get you on, maybe virtually, maybe in person in the studios if possible. Every episode of the Sales Circle comes out Thursday without fail. There's always an audio in the morning being released across all platforms, followed by a video in the afternoon over on YouTube. And if you do want to get some little snippets and some extra content, make sure you follow us on social media. Thank you so much for tuning into the Sales Circle podcast. And until next time, all the best. And that's it for another episode of the Sales Circle. Make sure you hit that follow button, join us over on social media, and we'll see you next week.